Hi everyone, this is the Lady Strange. Welcome to another deck review. This is an Oracle deck that I got in March of 2026, so a fairly new mass market Oracle deck on the market. Now, I work with my decks not only as potentially divinatory or guidance or energetic resonance, as that is all applies, or the day to day marrying in the mundane to the magic and the magic and the mundane, as I am a left hand practitioner. So, with that being said, my decks are also used to help me with my own personal evolution, alchemy, healing, growth, and dealing with this ever changing life we have as a woman in this human life experience, but also being a left hand practitioner and how that comes to be and the lessons I learned as I am a 47-year-old woman and the relationships I have had, things I'm integrating from my past into my present and my foreseeable future, as I like to say. The evolution, the fears, the anxieties, the things that evolved, the things I've learned, the truths I'm still working through that are hard to palate. So, my magical path being with that base being said, I work a lot with, as I mentioned in previous videos, Hecate, Hades. I work with other underworld deities as they pass, some of them pass through. I've had a longer term relationship with Hecate and Hades. Hecate first, Hades came in as the divine masculine aspect, and I've been working with him for several years and Hecate longer. But I've walked with them and worked with them in previous lives. I believe more so with my deities and entities and with my magical tools, especially my tarot and oracle, that they're not just divinatory. They are a part of me and part of my experience. They must resonate with me. They must hold a lot of value in me, a lot that can connect with me and connect with other decks and be conjunctive tools. I work with, I feel more interconnected with the moon. I do work a lot with solar energies or solar deities and entities, so to be. And of course, I tend to attract more masculine spirits. I do have feminine guides, I feel them, but I do work with more masculine. Hey, that's Tanya. So aren't most of my actual good friends are all males. It is what it is. Nothing wrong with that. So, with that being said, I work with the dark moon, the new moon, of course, hence Hecate and Hades, for example, hence some of the entities and spirits I work with, but also the beginnings and the end, the liminal. That's what magic is for me. That's the path I walk and traverse as not only a sorceress, so to say, or creatrix, but also one who brings changes and endings into my being, into the life experience and the day to day. They are all interlinked for me. They're not separate. The magic and the mundane. My humanity is my experience, but it is the vessel for the soul, being the left hand practitioner, for my divine essence and what I carry and present and how I evolve, and how things I can enact to improve in, or do the best I can, at least from my experiences. So with that being said, this is actually been reviewed. This is being a review. I don't edit my videos. This is what you see is what you get. Oh well. So basically, this is the Dark Moon Oracle. Here's the box. You can see the creator here. It's a nice box. Here's the back. If you want to pause it to give that a read, here you go. The box is nice. It's very sturdy. The kind of boxes I actually do like and prefer. Here's the interior. You can pause to read that. Here is the other side. So very nice. Already a very nice, well thought of magnetic clamshell type of box. My favorite, like I said, so quality, besides the other aspects that I mentioned. And it will also help to preserve the deck the way, I like it. I work with my decks, just as I work with my magical path and walk with. And yes, I do have many collector decks, which I do not use. So this guidebook here is basically a really nice guidebook. You can see here, just like the cover. Here's the back. As you can see, the blurb. Now, I'll just open up here just to a card so you can see. The cards each have a number on them. And then they have, here's this message. You can pause to see on this type of message. So you get 2 pages for each card. And there is several cards in this deck. So it's not as if it's a skimpy, very thin oracle. It's decent size and relevance, I believe. So yes. And so she works very well, this deck does, meaning she's a great tool and clarifier for tarot and other oracles. She is great for channeling with entities and deities and getting clarification. I've already used her for guidance for the new moon and dark moon liminal spaces, or the liminal, my magical witchcraft practice, my spiritual practice, and even my self-emotional and psychological and energetic states, as I mentioned. So the deck is, again, I find a lot of value in it. I found mine at Barnes & Noble's, again, mass market, reasonable price for the value you get. So in this day and age, we not only have to look at what is appealing and but how we can use it and how we can integrate on the value and the cost. Because things are getting more and more expensive, but some things are definitely worth the value, as this deck is. And yes, mass market's going up, but it's still reasonable. But I do love my indies. So with that being said, here's the lovely backings of the deck. It's a round deck. So you can see that I have small hands. It fits right in my hands. So that's a nice size. I have the full archetypes deck. Now it escapes my name. Oh, Kim Krantz. That one. And it's bigger than my hand. I don't mind. I like big decks. I cannot deny. Yeah, I'm a goof. But with that being said, the backs on that deck size. Cardstock's nice. I'm not a riffle shuffler. I don't mind brown decks. As long as they are effective. That's what matters. And as long as it adds value and not just something that's just there to be something, that. This deck has individuality. I'm going to show some of the cards. Again, the artwork is nice. The keywords are relevant, whether for clarifiers, for your readings, your daily reads, your spiritual reads, or incorporating into magic and creation, or understanding of oneself or one's relationships or experiences. And the cycles of the liminal and the phases of the moon. Now, this doesn't just need to be used during the dark or new moon phases. I've used it throughout, as I did, especially a lot last month. So it can be used. Decks are what you make them. Magic and experience is what you make it. Or at least doing your best to do so in the process. So here's the cards. I'm going to show some of them. There is, besides keywords, there is, sorry, let me turn it around. There is deities in here. It's a divine feminine deck, but just if you're a male doesn't mean you, or identify as a male does not mean you can't use it, or female. Again, we all hold all different aspects in our bodies, in our human life experiences, and our own personal divine essence that we hold. But look at these images. So I also get intuitive hits from that besides the keyword, and the guidebook does lend to it. Do I use it all the time? No, but I do incorporate it. I do often find key points, as you could see in my example, from this deck. Now again, I'm having to turn her around because the way I put her in the box, because she's a usable deck. Look, Hecate, the torchbearer, amongst many of her epithets that I recognize and work with. This is a very reflective deck too. So when you're looking for inner reflections, or when you don't understand certain emotions or what you're feeling or processing, or even the past, this is good. If you're looking for guidance, if you're just looking for something, if you're witchy inclined, magical inclined, or you're just like slightly darker aesthetic, or left-hand path, or just wisdom, or looking for something that works with other decks, this deck would be for you. You can use this in so many ways, just like I have. You can find inspiration and tools and artwork like this, keywords, and how you interpret and what you feel. Again, you are the creator of your life, the magician of your path, and your human life experiences and what you contribute. And first and foremost, true magic and sorcery is about shaping your reality, your inner world to shape your outer, and that's what comes first. The individual, not being selfish, but the individual in healing and evolution. Therefore, you clear your perceptions and perspectives. And your day-to-day does become more easier in many ways. You heal your past, and you can embrace the future with reality and more certainty. Nothing certain, but you can find more clarity and reframing through uncertainty. Know thyself and know thy power and know thy truth. That's how I look at it. And know what love you bring to the world, but what magic the world can bring to you. I'll show a few more, but I give this deck for the investment in my collection, the time, the energy, and what I know I will continue to build a working, relevant, respective relationship, and how it will aid my practices and all of its facets. As I give this deck, honestly, a 9 out of 10, which is pretty high for me. That means it works for me and has already made an impression on all levels, and I see a future with it. Many of my decks, I usually, even if I enjoy them, are 7.5 to 8. 7 and below will be 7's about 7.5's about average. So if it's about a 9, then you know that I truly recommend it. And these are, again, just a few examples of what this lovely deck is, and in the purpose of time saving and moving on with one of my rare few days off. Yeah, but we'll just put it that way. With that being said, I hope you like this, and if you find value or questions about this deck or anything else, please like, comment, subscribe, as it helps my channel grow, just as others have many decks that inspire me and I've obtained into my collection and found my own relevance for. Maybe this perhaps will guide you towards that and something new maybe you haven't seen, or a new perspective on it. And with that being said, thanks for watching, and as always, stay strange.